pass inside. They kick it back out. Stone for three. Good.
She missed her last couple of shots there, but it never does bother Allie Stone for her second three-point make.
She doesn't have a. Bears get it back out top. Kicking it in the corner. There's a three on its way. McKenzie, good.
Hey, Johnson Central said, hey, I'm in the house tonight, and that's the fifth made three for the Bears in the first half.
In the lane, kicks it in the corner. Three on its way. That is good by Haley Collins.
Yeah, nice job. The freshman from Knox Central High School. The Panther become Bear.
And quickly they'll go the other way. Going to the rack hard. No, rebound put back up and in is that is Savannah Jarvis.
Yeah, nice job on the offensive rebound. Got the puck back and did a nice job.
I want to play with the same intensity. And there's a drive. Boy, beautiful pass. And Andrade gets her first basket and one.
Allie Stone, again, you'll see in the stat sheet she has a lot of points, but also she does a good job of running the ball club. Charlie, she keeps everybody involved.
By Sophie Atkins. Layup on the other end is good.
Collins, she'll be the fourth Bear in double figures.
Up, working the bush, back around the horn. There's Warren for three, good.
That's her third made three of the night. Charlie, she's the sixth Bear in double figures with 11 points, and Bears up to 105 points. Welcome into the Coach Clifton Williams show. My name is Gary Justice, along with Coach Clifton Williams. And Coach, been a busy week as we talk kind of a sprint to the start of the season.
You know, it's it always gets here so quick in the AAC. Early November, you got to be ready to go.
Well, and Coach, as far as this past week, you had an opportunity to open up your home portion of your schedule, and of course in AAC, since this third season for the Bears being part of the AAC, open up your home schedule with 2 conference games, Coach.
Here we go, right? I mean, we've got 20 conference games this year. Actually, we'll play 21. One of them won't count. We could talk about that at another time. But, you know, we get to open up with Bluefield and CIU. And after playing Marion, we had a 10-day break coming in. So we put an emphasis on defensive side of the ball. We simplified our offense, and then we just drilled it for 9 days, 10 days.
And Coach, before we jump into as far as the breakdown, there's a couple of different roads I'd like for us to go down today.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely recap this past week, the 2 conference games with Bluefield and Conley International. Preview, got a big one on Wednesday night down in Knoxville, Tennessee. Then also a third segment I'd love for you. Very interesting. Your coaching, your route to the University of Pikeville has been interesting. I'd definitely love to hear what has ignited your coaching passion as well, Coach.
Got it.
So, Coach, let's as far as before we jump into the recap of this previous week, some new faces on the roster, a very talented freshman class. Coach, I tell you what, you continue to get the job done on the recruiting trail. Tell us about these freshmen that come in, Coach.
You know, it's we'll just start with an overview. There's 11 Kentucky kids on this roster, which we have not had that many, right, out of the 14 that we have on our varsity roster. I guess we can start with probably Allie Collins, 13th region. She's been a player of the year in that region. She's one of 5, like we talked about on the recap at halftime the other night. She's one of 5 women in the state of Kentucky to have over 3,000 points and over 1,800 rebounds in her career. Just an outstanding high school career and just a fantastic start to her college career. Kyra McLareness, 14th region player of the year. She was also the softball player of the year in her senior year. Talking about Sophie Atkins out of the 15th region, Lawrence County. She had double-figure scoring yesterday, went 50% from the three-point line. Jada Cummins out of Grant County. She's a guard who hadn't had too much playing time yet, but aggressive on both sides of the ball. I mean, our depth is outstanding at the in all of our freshmen. So when we look at depth is so important when you start talking about how deep you go into the conference and when you start talking about national tournament, right? When you get deep into the year, late in February, into March, We have to be able to go as deep as possible so we can be as fresh as possible.
And also the style you play, coach, right? You like to put as much defensive pressure as possible on the opponent. You like to get up and down the floor. You like to score the basketball. Definitely, from the box scores from this week, they're definitely very evident of that. Having that depth, but also not losing the production on the floor, coach. That's what you always talk to me about. It's not just the fact of having a roster; it's right having the right pieces for a Coach Clifton Williams system.
Well, it's that, and then it's okay. We're all bought into a specific standard of play, right? So, the score becomes irrelevant. It's, do we have any kind of drop off based on the standard that we've set right from day one in the expectation? So, um, to you know, we're not looking to blow teams out, right? We're playing to a standard for 40 minutes, and the score is what it is at the end. But at halftime, we don't go in and say, "Hey, we've done a great job." No, how do we continue to adhere to the standard, right, for the next 20 minutes? Um, you talked about defensive pressure. Another freshman, Annika Stebbins from Australia, has just been outstanding on the defensive side. She really pushes the pace for us in transition, attacking the basket, just super aggressive, and just pretty much changed how we play defensively. Um, it,
Coach, as far as going up the roster, going to that sophomore class, they definitely have a transfer, Hazley Matthews
mhm.
from KCU. He's got
Yep.
had to play some good minutes this past week for the Bears. Jalea Warren from Belfry High School had a huge week, 14 made threes in two ball games. I thought 6 on Wednesday night was amazing. Then she come out on Saturday and hit 8, 7 in the first half. I mean, just absolutely amazing. And then Taylor McKenzie from Johnson Central High School, who's track to varsity minutes has been just amazing, and just a never quit attitude as
Mhm.
far as when she putting her feet in the right place, and she's blooming at the University of Pikeville. I don't have the roster in front of me. I'm not sure if I'm missing any sophomores there,
Alana
Coach.
Smith, out of
Thank you.
Louisville, at DuPont Manual. She's a backup post player for us. Um, Rebounds well, that can defend 1 through 5. Another addition to the sophomore class with a year of experience.
And Alana, definitely, she has the size, the athleticism. Who she can cause a lot of matchup problems for teams as
She
you get down the
can.
way. It's
I
awesome,
mean,
Coach.
when you think about last year, we go to Bryan. She's middle of the third quarter. We're concerned about their shooter, like she hasn't really got going yet. So by her face guarding Tori Brooks, is their sniper, their 3-point shooter. She flipped the game. We wound up winning the game by double minutes, by double figures rather, and it was the 6-7 minutes that she just took her out of the game completely. That just changed the game for us. So
And then you only have one junior on the roster, Rachel Bush, which she's a good one. I mean, if you're gonna have one person that if you can go to war with, type deal, I'd go to war any day of the week with Rachel Bush.
the 16th region connection with Rachel and with Allie, obviously, but Rachel in particular, she's long, she can rebound it well, she can protect the rim for us,
Oh,
blocking shots. Everybody calls her in practice. She's called the mid-range sniper because she shoots from such a high percentage, from the mid-range, and brings a depth of experience for us. Right? She's won a conference championship. She was on that team as a freshman. Had a really, really good sophomore year. She's a WBCA All-American. She was a National Defensive Player of the Week. Uh, we expect big things from Rachel, and Rachel's the type of player that's going to impact winning before she scores her first basket, whether it's assists, rebounds, defending their best forward, whatever we ask her to do.
and Rachel's a fun player to watch, right? She's not going to blow you away with athleticism, but
No,
you talk about on the defensive end, coach. If they go into she'll go contest a shot, and she's going to block the shot. She'll get the steal. The mid-range snipers you talked about, you leave her open, the balls will go through the hoop.
exactly. And then, how do you add to your game year to year? And so, what Rachel really added to her game when we started putting this team together and practicing early on in some of these early games, it's her off-ball movement. It's understanding where to cut and how to cut into space, and then have the timing to be able to receive the ball and catch and score, or catch and make a play from it. So she's been really, really good.
Definitely been a joy to watch, and so glad she's wearing the orange and black. Then you got the two seniors. You got Allie Stone, the reigning Player of the Year,
Yeah.
in the Appalachian Athletic Conference, All American last year, well deserved, and then Jotty as well. Mejia Andrade. She's a phenomenal player too, Coach.
She is. Jody understands her role on this team. She embraces it. She's a leader. She communicates well with all of our players, regardless of class they're in. Um, Rebounds the ball really, really well. Can run the floor. She's tough defensively. You might look at her and say, well, she can't handle some of these strong girls down low, but she's going to battle you. I can't say enough about what she's done for this program, but also what she's doing in the classroom. Like, she's the first player I've had in 10 seasons that's been in the nursing program and is going through the nursing program and is a full-time basketball player.
And nursing program and just by being in a nursing program is tough enough. But doing it being a college athlete, Coach, that is absolutely amazing.
And a starter on our basketball team. Like, she's just not you understand how difficult this is. It's never been done before, and it was discouraged. When I first came in, the nursing program would look at it and say, well, they can't do both. Well, Jaide's she's changing the narrative, and it's going to help us as a program down the road, and she's setting herself up for a great future.
And then, Coach, we mentioned her name, but Allie Stone on Saturday moved into 7th all time on the scoring list. The University of Pikeville, 1,724 points, and
Yeah,
there are people. She's still got some shots at moving on up the ladder, but just totally just a great player. I think on the season right now, Coach, through the 3 regular season games, 15 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, got a steal. But, Coach, her shooting line, 55% from the floor, 56% from deep, and 90% from the free throw line. And that 3-point percentage, before you say anything about being not a lot of attempts, she makes about 3 threes per ball game. Absolutely amazing, Coach.
she's the most efficient basketball player we've had since I've been here, from a scoring standpoint. She's the most consistent player at the one position on both sides of the ball. Like, defensively, she guards players bigger than her. She's sneaky strong. People don't understand how strong Allie really is. Switching on to post players isn't an issue for her. The leadership role that she's taken on, this year from last year, that's a growth area for her. She's one of the captains on this team. She says what needs to be said when it needs to be said, and then she leads by example. But I remember the first time I saw her was at the Aries League in Raceland. She was an 8th grader. And there's this little kid out there running around just giving everybody buckets. And, like, who is that kid? I went and found the guy who runs the league. He was the head coach at Raceland at the time. And he told me who that was. And I've been following that kid ever since. And, I stayed on the phone. I didn't overcall when it came to recruiting her, but I just stayed in touch enough. And at the end of the day, she chose us, and it's been a great story that we're still writing the ending to.
Well, Coach, I'll tell you a quick Allie Stone story that I have. I was working in the admissions office, and Cheyenne Sowards, who works in admissions, she is actually the director of admissions now. We made a trip to West Carter High School to go meet Allie Stone, and she had several different college offers on the table, of course. But just talking with her, I was like, my goodness, I just want her to become here, just be a student, because
Right.
she is phenomenal in the classroom, but and also great on the basketball court as well.
Before we move on here, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the name of the coach that was at Raceland. Right, his name is Ron Keaton. He's a former coach there of the girls basketball team, and his daughter Crystal played for us for a year, the first year I was here. So, want to give him a shout out.
Well, definitely, helping to identify Miss Allie. I mean, so definitely, Coach Kid. Hey,
Right?
thanks for letting us know who it was.
Come on
Exactly.
now.
Yeah, come on now.
Yeah.
So, Coach, let's jump into this week. Can we talk about the sprint as far as going right in your second game of the season? You're opening up at home. It's a part of this now, part of the Appalachian Athletic Conference. You'll actually play 5 conference games before Thanksgiving,
Mm-hmm.
which is a challenge. It's a challenge for everybody. It's not just for the University of Pikeville.
No.
Everybody's playing the same type of schedule. But, Coach, this past week, you open up on Bluefield on Wednesday. Let's break down the battle. It's the Rams week for you this week. But let's the first ball game. Let's break down the Bluefield ball game where you guys won that 122-39.
That game was really for us. It was a carryover of the 9 days of work we put in after the Marion game. the one-on-one gauntlet drills in practice. You know, the defensive tenacity that we expected from them, the extra conditioning that we put in. Like, these kids just put on their hard hat and went to work. And so when it was time to play a game again, they came out of the gate on fire. And if you look at the numbers, like the percentages that we shot
Ah,
by quarter, right? First quarter, it was a little bit rusty. We were at 41%, 78.9, 80, 64.7 to finish the game, 122 points. I mean, I can't say enough. But on the defensive side, to be able to hold the team to 39 in a 40-minute game, and we scored 38 points in the second quarter, which was one shy of their total for the game. So the offensive efficiency was outstanding. The defensive efficiency was outstanding. Can't say enough about the effort we put in.
had some individually had some great performances
We
there too.
did.
You talk about Jalea Warren; she had those 6 made threes. Allie had a solid game. Talk about Annika; she had a solid game as well. Kyra off the bench had a big time game. Collins had a big time game off the bench, also leading the team in scoring, rebounding, assist as a freshman off the bench.
Yeah.
So many people. Taylor McKenzie, she had double figures in just a few minutes, and just I mean, there's so many people to go around. But what I was impressed with on Wednesday night against Bluefield Coach was it was 58-18 at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
And again, sometimes you think about things getting sloppy in the second half when the ball
No.
when it gets that out of hand, people start trying to do things. Your team stayed so focused, continued running the offense, sharing the basketball, and playing efficiently throughout the game. I know you gave the quarter breakdown, but you in field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, and free throw percentage, everything was in the 60s.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's well, it's these kids bought in and they're buying into how we need to play. And like I mentioned earlier, it's like if there's a standard of play and these are the expectations, we need to be able to move the basketball. We need to be able to defend our player one on one as much as possible. We need to rebound the first miss. We need to play with enthusiasm and industriousness every single day. And when you add focus into that, and that's what you saw in this game with Bluefield, is we were locked in for 40 minutes, right? We didn't waver in how we played quarter to quarter, media timeout to media timeout. It all looked the same, and it didn't matter who was on the floor. So that's the standard, right? And at the end of the day, we look at the score and we're like, wow, okay, we got it done, right? So what I told them leading into the next game, as we looked ahead to CIU was, rent's due every day. We're not going to get this job done today on last game's effort. So here we go. It's a challenge.
I had the opportunity to speak to Rick Bentley's sports communication class on Thursday, and Allie Stone is one of those
Yeah,
players.
she's in there. I've actually done that this year. It was fun. We had a fun day.
But I was like, hey, Allie, what about the CIU coming up? Said we'll put the scout in today. I mean, she was like, even though she moved up the scoring list, she moved to 8th on Wednesday night.
No,
She had a big game. She was like, hey, that ball game was last night. We're getting ready for CIU on Saturday.
she understands the process. She knows we have to stay focused and stay present. And then no matter what happens, on Wednesday, it has to be in the rearview mirror if you're going to be 100% focused on the prep and the next game. She gets it.
So, Coach, again, I'm going off memory here, but I think we had 58 bench points on Wednesday night, which is amazing. 37 assists. My point there shows the efficiency, and you held Bluefield to only 3 assists that night.
Yeah, it's here's another. You talk about analytics, right? So in that game, points per possession is a huge analytic when it comes to college and professional athletics, right? 1 point per possession is excellent based on the metric. Our bench was over 1.4 points per possession in that game. And wait, our starters were over 1.5. That's how efficient that game was.
The roster construction has been absolutely. I'm just so excited about this season and what you got going on is definitely amazing. So, Coach, let's jump ahead to the nickname of the Rams. That this will
Hmm.
be in the Columbia International University Rams. They come up from Columbia, South Carolina, and the Bears walk away with their second consecutive victory, 92-55. Jalea Warren with 8 made threes, Coach.
Here's a quick side note to that. So she hits her first one, right? And she missed her next two. And there was like a dead ball or a free throw or something was happening. I called her over. And I don't know what made me say this, but and we didn't communicate before the game. Just looked at her and I was like, don't stop shooting the ball. Keep shooting it. Because I knew that the action that we were running, she was going to continue to get open. And so, I mean, I don't know if people were aware, but other than this little half court set for a mid pick that we ran the same action the entire quarter, right? On the side and Allie just kept finding her. Everybody found her. Annika found her. I think Rachel might have found her one. Like everybody found her, and she's standing there. She's one of the best catch and shoot players in this league, and she's going to start climbing the top of people's scouting reports because of that, and going to try to force her to do different things. But offensively, I think we're good enough to be able to continue to create those opportunities on the perimeter.
Jalea, of course, part of the voted all freshman team last year
Right?
in the Appalachian Athletic Conference. Deep last year, she's already improved on that number.
She's
She
on track right now.
she hit 8. The team hit 15
Right.
on Saturday. When you hit 15 threes, Coach, you can win a lot of ball games.
True, right? And so we shot almost 39% from the three as a team. The way they defend, they really collapsed on the paint every time the ball went inside or we drove it inside. So there were a lot of uncontested opportunities at 3-point line. And there probably could have been a few more, right? We not fought so much inside and just moved the ball back out to the perimeter, but that's all learning, at that point. But 15 makes is going to win you a lot of ball games. You get 45 points from the 3-point line, and you can get up in the 90s like we were.
So, Coach, now as we wrap up week 1 of the conference tournament of the conference schedule, what's your overall takeaways from week 1, Coach?
Just the unselfishness that we played with offensively. So I'll talk one thing on both sides of the ball, right, to answer that question. Proud of and how they played was we had 59 assists in 2 games. That's a massive number, right? I mean, obviously we got up a lot of shots in both of these games, but the ball movement, we gave the ball energy in both of these games. And when you do that, it's going to find the open player, right? And we preach that. So 59 assists is probably the stat I'm most proud of. On the defensive side, it's just the ball pressure that we're bringing. Everybody's buying into guarding hand-on pressure, right? That's what we call it, right? We want to have a hand on. You can't keep it on, and we work on it. We drill those things, and we coach them through it as we're playing live. But the ball pressure is disruptive. It causes the team to turn the ball over. Pressed anything. We just pick the ball up full court. Let's play.
And Coach, you've always told me that as far as defense travels too. So the shot may not always be going in,
No.
but you can the defense can always be played.
Well, Gary, this is why the industriousness, the hard work, and the enthusiasm has to be there. That has to be a constant because hard work is a drudgery without the joy, right? And then the focus on top of it allows you to be able to play the scout at a high level. And when we just those 3 things, right? If we can marry that and be consistent in that, we're going to give people a hard time every night.
So, Coach, as we look forward to this week, you can have a big contest on Wednesday down in Knoxville, and on Saturday, you'll travel down and take on the Cavaliers of Montreat. I know you talk about the rents due each day,
Yeah.
so I don't want you to be looking forward to games. But what do the Bears got to continue doing, Coach, and what do you have to improve on in order to come away with 2 victories this week?
It's continuing to establish the identity on both sides of the ball, right? Like that tenacity that we've shown at home needs to travel, right? And you talk about these girls and what we've been able to bring in, right? They chose us, right? But what do I look for when it comes to those type of players? Is I look for players that have a similar mindset that I do, right? Because now we can get on the same page quick about how we want to prepare and how we want to play. Um, I asked them all to tell me what I needed to know about them to help coach them. I asked them to just write it for me, send it, give me a note. Tell me how I can coach you better. What do you need from me? And each one of them responded, and I've responded. Like I used that information to help coach them, and so uh, nothing's taken personally. We just, it's all about improvement. So if we can continue to improve on both sides of the ball, um, and grind it out and become road warriors, because that's really what we're looking for, right? We're going to play many more games on the road, 17, than we play at home. So becoming a road warrior and having that kind of mindset allows you not only to compete well at the conference or when you go to a neutral site at the conference tournament, it's the national tournament where you want to be able to establish yourself if you're not hosting, right?
It's again a big week, and just in the second week, well, actually third week of the season, regular season for the Bears. And that matchup with Johnson is gonna be a big one, and I know our ball club is gonna be prepared. I know that for sure, Coach. Um, Last segment here, Coach. As far as I like to maybe pull back the curtain of Coach Clifton Williams a little bit. As far as a little bit of your resume, you're very accomplished in the coaching profession. A 2-year stint at Florida State University. The Seminoles were part of the Sweet 16 and Elite Eight ball clubs. Part of the 2000, well, he's at the University of Kentucky, and is part of the 2012 national. Couple of questions off there. One, what ignited your passion to coach? And the second thing is, what did you take away from Florida State and UK that's made you a better coach at the University of Pikeville?
Um, Great question. I think playing the game, started playing competitively at the age of 9. And, I played through high school and I had a significant leg injury in my junior year of high school that kind of shut it down, for me, because it took me 3 years to recover from that. And I think it was figuring out how to stay involved in the game, because there weren't that many opportunities for somebody who wasn't able to play at the college level. But everybody that I played with and against, growing up, played at the college level. And, um, remember Sean Toohey, who played at Ole Miss? Do you remember that
I do,
name? The
yes.
blind side?
Yes.
Right. He was a point guard on our basketball team when I was a freshman. We went 32-1, won a state championship. Um, I won a national championship at age 12 in basketball out of New Orleans on a travel team. Uh, so state championship in high school, championship at a young age in basketball. Went to the Babe Ruth World Series as a 15-year-old. So competing for a national championship in multiple sports. Like this has just been in my blood since I was little. And so once I found the opportunity and it really started once I made the decision, I guess is the way to put it, to start and to venture down this coaching road. It started volunteering. I volunteered at the elementary school in New Orleans. That's where it started. So I would did strength training during the day at that point. Right, that was my full time job. That allowed me to play golf and do a lot of different things. Um, so I was free in the evenings to go and coach. And from that point, and that started in 19. Um, I continued to volunteer, and at some point I decided, it's like, man, I'm going to figure out a way to get paid to do this full time because I love this. I really love doing it. Um, I wound up being a high school coach and playing for the coach who was our high school state champion coach, the guy I played for. He was the AD. I went back and coached at the same school I went to. I was an assistant for 2 years on that staff. And from there, made my way back to Lexington. Bo was born. My son Bo, he's 16 now. He was born at that time in New Orleans. Katrina hits. A lot of stuff had happened. So once I get to Lexington, because my wife's family was in Lexington, that's how we got here. But the story how I got to Kentucky is the story, right? How did I go from Sayre to
Yes.
Kentucky?
Yeah. That's what everybody. I mean, because you look on the resume and you think in the
Yeah,
national
and
championship as well, Coach.
right, like it's divine timing is what I like to call it. Um, so I had to go back into the classroom and finish up some education credits. I was shy on my education credits I was going to be a teacher and coach high school. That was the goal, right? So I had to stop coaching at Sayre, and that was the last thing I wanted to do, but I knew I had to do it. So I walked in, met with Ted Hall, cried with Ted Hall in his office, and walked away, not knowing how I was going to stay involved in the game. But it burned. It burned in me every day. I got to figure this out. I got to figure this out. I can do it. I can finish my school stuff, and I can figure out a way. So I walked into the Joe Craft Center one day. I happened to run into the team manager for the basketball team. I was like, explained my situation. Hey, I'm looking for an opportunity. We get it. We spoke for probably 15, 20 minutes. And he looked at me just like you're looking at me right now. He's like, I cannot be your boss. I can't do it. I just don't feel I can't do it. He said, but the video coordinator is looking for some help. I'll speak to him. So he spoke to him. I knew the guy who was the video coordinator at Vanderbilt at the time. He got us into practice when I was coaching in New Orleans so we can go watch and learn from Kevin Stallings. So between those two conversations, I get a phone call at my house on a Sunday night. Hey, can you come film a practice? I show up. You bet I can. Gary, I didn't know anything about filming. I didn't know. Clueless.
Well, you're coachable though. You wouldn't learn.
Oh, look, the camera. I show up. The camera's set up in the bird. Comes in. Tim Asher's his name. I love Tim to death, man. He's just. I want everybody in the shot. All you need to do is pan here to here. I'll see you after practice. That was it. That was the extent of my training. So I shoot it. I shoot the practice. He comes in. He grabs the camera. He said, "Come on down. Just come sit in the office. Give me about 3 minutes. I'll be back out to talk to you." So he watched some of the video. He walks out and he looks at me and he says, "You're in." I'm like, what do you mean? Because I was filming a Dominican Republic team. I wasn't filming Kentucky, right? They were practicing.
Okay.
It was a
Yeah.
Dominican team. He goes, "Now you're in with Kentucky. We're going to, you're in school. We got you." I didn't take a resume in. I didn't do anything. I didn't fill out an application. That's how I got in.
Because you were personable when showed up and say, "Hey, I'm here.
I,
Here's there's something they saw in you."
I walked through a door that I don't know how it got swung open, right?
Yeah.
But it was swung open. And once it was open, I figured out how to stay because I had to learn how to edit. I had to learn how to do some things, right? But they put me in a position to learn. And, I got to travel to every game. I was on the travel team. Like I did it all. And I did it for 3 seasons.
So, Coach, what about those skills? Now being a head coach, this is your 10th year leading the University of Pikeville program. Because I think there maybe an aspiring coach out there who is wanting to coach at the collegiate level. What skills did you learn? Maybe not even a coach. Maybe somebody who just want to maybe take advantage going up climbing the ladder professionally. Skills that you learned at UK has helped you be as successful. You're 170 wins so far at the University of Pikeville, 421 seasons, 5 trips to the NAI national tournament, most of any coach in program history. Been very successful, and I know you had to bring some of those skills that you learned throughout the way. What's helped you, Coach, be successful at the University of Pikeville?
you know, I got to give credit to Florida State too, and mention Sue Semrau, because what she did for me on top of my experience at Kentucky was absolutely amazing. She just allowed me to be the video coordinator and manage the video piece, and she put me on the first seat in the bench every game, right? Which allowed me to learn and be firsthand and watch how she managed games, right? And she also let me use my video experience to steal play calls and funnel information to her and let her know what action was. So those are the skills that help me from a game management standpoint, right? Which I still utilize today. What did I learn from Kentucky? It was hard work isn't enough. Are you working on the right things, right? Are you anticipating what coaches might need? Because I didn't have one boss. I had, John Calipari as a head coach, but the three assistant coaches, I also had to do more, right? So can I anticipate their needs? And I worked on projects that went into the trash can. But by working on those things, right, I learned how to watch film better. I learned how to edit film better. Um, I learned how to develop my own philosophy around basketball, and what kind of system, if and when I do become a head coach, what do I want to implement, right? And then I think the biggest thing is I learned how to be a lifelong learner.
Mm.
Like every year, every summer, every time this is shut down, it's about self-reflection, self-evaluation, and then what do I need to do to help and to grow and become a better coach, right? And these young women over the course of these 10 years here have provided a great opportunity for my learning and growth and development as a coach.
Well, Coach, and this is again year 10 for you, and been very successful in the first 9, and year 10 is off to a pretty good start as well. And we're so happy that you're leading the program at the University of Pikeville. Not only the successes that you've had on the hardwood, but you're such a leader, not only just the women's basketball, but on campus as well.
Appreciate
A lot of people look to you, Coach, for leadership, and you're a willing sharer as well. And that's something um, my I've referenced on several of the broadcasts. My mama, my grandmother, she always taught me to be a helper, be a
right,
giver,
right,
not a taker. But in order to be a giver, my mama said you have to learn to be able to teach.
right.
And definitely, I think that and what I witnessed from you, every skill that you've learned, you're willing to teach anybody who is wanting to learn. So we definitely appreciate what your presence on campus as well, Coach.
Thank you, Gary. Appreciate it, man.
Well, Coach, I know this is a big week, and hopefully the next time we talk, the Bears are setting for 4-0 in AAC action as well, and this your willingness to put on the Coach Clifton Williams show on the Justice Broadcast Network. Definitely appreciate you, Coach.
Appreciate your time, and let's take care of Johnson and Montreat this week. Let's go Bears.
Oh, let's go Bears. Well, appreciate you guys tuning in to the Justice Broadcasting Network for the Coach Clifton Williams show. Stay tuned to upikebears.com for all the updated information regarding the ball games, how to stream the ball games while the Bears are on the road. Also, look forward to us on social media for updates regarding the results of the ball game as well. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and please remember, it's always a great day to be a Upike Bear.